I think in the last class. Okay, okay, no problem. So, let me mute. Okay, so there's no echo right now. Okay, so last time we have discussed that different kind of platforms that we use to install the Postgre. Okay, some of the environments are already clear, like VM and operating system. So from today we are going to start the containers. Okay, and we are going to understand the entire containerization process. We will understand what is Docker, how to use it, and we are going to use all the things, we are going to learn all the things related to containers one by one. And also we are going to understand about Docker Compose, Docker Swarm, and Kubernetes cluster. Okay, because these topics are interrelated. And also we will understand how to install Postgre on container. Okay, so before we start the container part, any question related to the old class or any doubt which is cribbing you? Anything? Are we good to start?
Hello.
Yeah.
Sorry about my question, but today only I joined.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know like what covered and all.
So actually, we have covered a few topics, which is just it was just a beginning, and everything is recorded.
Okay.
So after the session, I will send you the recording and everything, and you can see that. So it is very initial phase. So nothing to worry. You can easily cover it. Okay.
All right. All right. Yeah.
Okay. So tell me one thing, like uh, to install a virtual machine, how long it takes? I think we already have talked about. Anyone?
1 hour, 1.5 hours, 1 hour.
1.5 hours, 1 hours. If we automate it with Vagrant, how long it takes?
5 minutes, 5 to 8
Fi-
minutes.
5 to 8 minutes. We already did learned about Vagrant and everything.
Yeah.
Now tell me one thing. Uh, in case if any disaster happens, let's suppose we are building a application like Amazon, LinkedIn, or all these famous application, or let's suppose Netflix. If any disaster happens, uh, you have this live production server which is currently live. If something goes wrong to this particular server, what is the option? What will happen? Is this is a live server? Let's suppose www.google.com is running from this server. Hypothetically think like it's a single server and it's crashed. What is the option? What happens?
We need to rebuild the server.
Okay, very good. So rebuilding, how long it will take?
So depending
Approx.
on the infrastructure where we have built in, right? If it is a self-managed bare metal machine, then it will take more time, like more than 2 hours, 3
Yes.
hours. Yeah.
So let's segregate all these things step by step. First of all, VM build, okay, OS installation, then config, application environment configuration. Let's suppose I am using Java application. So I will set up the Java environment. If I'm using a database installation, and then I will push my code from Git or GitHub or wherever it is. How long it can take based on your experience, or anyone? How long it can take this whole process?
Like more than 6 hours.
More than 6 hours, sometimes 2 to 3 hours. But actually, it can take from the range of 4 to 6 hours. Okay, because these all steps are going to be very some of the things we have to do manual, some of the things are automated, all these things. Okay. So after seeing the complication of deploying your application on VM, what happened? All the big organizations like Google, they have seen these kind of challenges. Okay. They have identified that providing high availability to an application on virtual machine, sometimes it takes long to restore. Sometimes it is very hard to manage those kind of application on top of the VMs. Okay. So what happened? Slowly, that day I was telling you, right? We are going to go from this direction to this direction, from left to right, from the from the development point of view, or from the kind of evaluation that happened in the IT. In that sequence, we are going to do. So VMs are, they are little bit outdated. They got issues. They are not very, efficient sometimes, and out of also they are very bulky to manage. Okay, so just to reduce all these 4 to 6 hours in the real-time production environment, what happened? Containers got introduced into the systems. Okay, so now before I go to the container, let's understand few core concepts. Okay, which is very important to understand. When you have VM, how VMs are deployed on your machine? First, you have hardware. Okay, on top of your hardware, you have OS. On top of your OS, you have VM software or VM application. And on top of that, you are creating your virtual machines like this, right? That's what we are doing, right? This is the sequence, right? Hardware, OS, VM software, and or virtualization application, and then your VMs. Okay, it's like that only. So in this particular architecture, what is the biggest disadvantage that we are facing? We are facing one biggest disadvantage is like we are unnecessarily managing the OS layer, VM layer, and actual VM layer. Okay, so if you see the overall coordination or the communication is 4-level communication: 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so what is happening here? In case if my VM has to do anything, or in case if my VM has to occupy any resource, it has to directly go and talk to the VM application layer, and then OS layer, and then hardware layer, right? This is the process. First of all, my operating system itself is a big architecture. On top of that, I have virtualization software that takes its own resources, and VM has its own resources, right? When I say resources, what it means? VM have what kind of resources that we should bothered about? CPU, RAM, hard disk, and network, right? This is the core layers of a VM, right? VM needs CPU, RAM, hard disk, and network. Okay, so in that case, what is happening? First of all, my VM itself is having these kind of resources. Then I have virtualization software, then operating system, and then hardware. So you can think like it's a little bit bulky architecture where your a single VM has to communicate with multiple processes. Now, let's think for, or let's understand about one second. Let's understand same thing how we can do with containers. Okay, so first of all, before I go to the container, anyone know about container? What is container? Any concept? or any idea? Any idea? Okay, no problem. I will explain everything. One more piece of information. Some of the virtualization software, they can directly install on top of the hardware also. Okay. And what are those software? They are EXI, like VMware, EXI servers, so applications, and Proxmarks. They can also be installed on directly on the operating system. In case you don't want to use the OS, you can directly use your bare metal hardware and you can install these kind of softwares. Just a extra piece of information, because going forward sometime when we will do the we'll talk about little bit virtualization, we'll talk about these kind of things. So now some of you might might ask this question, right? Why these all things are important? Okay, I'll connect the dot slowly why these things are important. Okay, so now this is the VM. Now let's understand what is Docker or what is container. Okay, first of all, what is container? As it names at its names reflects that we are talking about a container, basically a jar where we are keeping all the items. Okay, in the typical scenario, when we have jar or when we have container, what we do, we just keep the stuff inside that, and that container is nothing but a kind of place where all the item, or it can be anything, it can be kitchen item or anything, it is getting contained in that particular area. Okay, if you talk about same thing in the terms of VM or something, VM is also doing the same thing, right? VM is also a small container, right? Yes or no? VM is a small container, right? Where it has its hard disk, RAM, CPU, and network, right? Anyone?
Yes.
So, but why containers are different than VM? What is the core what is the core difference? The core difference is when you are running the containers are lightweighted environment. First thing, they are very lightweighted. Second thing, they are directly communicating, they are directly working. Let's see this first. This is your hardware. This is your OS. And containers are directly working on top of your OS using the very lightweighted software called Docker. Okay, we are using Docker. So Docker is one of the application which helps to run the container. Like that, we have multiple other softwares also in the market, like Podman and other different softwares, but Docker is very popular. Okay, so comparing with VM, first of all, it is very lightweighted. It consumes very less resources directly from the OS. Okay, and another, compared to a VM, a container takes very less size also. Okay, we'll discuss all these things. I'll show you practically on the screen. Okay, second thing, when you want to deploy a container, containers can be quickly deployed from the container repo. We will talk about the repo and everything. But in case if I need a VM, I have to build that VM on my machine itself. Okay, I have to build that particular VM. Okay, another biggest difference, let's suppose in case if I want to achieve a application environment, this is nothing but an application environment, right? Yes or no? I have VM, OS, then configuration, application configuration, database, and then my code, right? This is the complete application environment, right? To run any application. Yes or no? To run this kind of environment, we have to do multiple operations. First, we have to install VM, OS, all these things we have to do. But in the case of container, it comes as a package. And I can simply get a image of my application. Okay. And I can directly deploy it using container. Okay. So container is nothing but a lightweight isolated environment which provides us a runtime environment, or you can say a environment where we can run any kind of operating system, any kind of application, operating system, utilities, whatever you want to run. Okay. To understand the container, we have to understand some core concepts. Okay. Whenever you want to understand the container, you have to understand, let's suppose you are to run your container, you are using the Docker. Okay. to work with the Docker, there are some core concepts. The first concept is image. After that, we have a repo, and then container. Then we have commands, basic commands. Then you have to understand volume. Volume is nothing but persistent volume. Little bit part of the container life cycle, mean to say how to deploy the container, where to deploy, all these things. So basically deployment method also you have to understand. So the first thing, if you want to deploy or you want to run any container, these are the core concept that you have to understand. What is image? Image is nothing but in case if you want to install Linux or Windows, what you do? Anyone? If you want to install Linux or
ISO.
anything, what you do? Like what is the
ISO.
process?
Visual image.
Anyone?
ISO is required, I think.
Any idea?
ISO. Am I audible,
What
sir?
we do? We just download the ISO file, right, from the internet, and then we create bootable disk, bootable USB or bootable disk, and we connect to our computer or a laptop, and we just install it, right? So images are nothing but they are a small files which is containing the operating system, or they are containing the application, and they can contain anything, but they are like, you know, small file which is behaving like ISO. Okay. Is this clear? Image, at least? Yes or no? We are very quiet today. Is this clear? Image, at least? What is image? Docker
Yeah,
image?
yes.
Okay. Repo. What is repo? When we do yum install and all, from where we get our packages? From where we get this?
From
Yeah, the
Docker.
repository.
Yeah, Dhirendra, you are not audible. Rohit,
Yeah, from
can you
Docker.
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Hello.
1 second. I think you people are not able to hear me, right?
No, we can able to hear you. You only.
I'm not able to hear any of you. 1 minute. Just let me reset my. Can you hear me now? Can someone confirm?
Yes,
Yes.
we can able to
Yes,
hear
we
you.
can.
Previously, I was not able to hear any.
Yeah,
anyone
from
else.
the beginning we can able to hear you, but
Uh-huh.
you can't able to hear us.
Oh. I'm so sorry. In that case, just send me the message.
Yeah.
Because I
Dhirendra
have.
was about to tell about the ISO thing, but
Yes.
you didn't
Yeah.
respond. Yeah.
Okay. I'm so sorry. I was not able to hear you people. Okay. Dhirendra or anyone, what was the question? I was keep on, talking, and anyone, like, any question? Which is very
There's one
important.
question that you Pro Max and you. What's that? That's you have covered this one. Pro Max. So OS you can directly install on the OS. This Pro Max, you have written Pro Max and exe file.
Proxmox and EXI, right?
What's that?
Sorry, your voice is little not clear.
What's that? Can you explain?
Okay. So basically what happens when we have to deploy production grade virtualization or production grade VM applications, what is the core architecture? Hardware, OS, and then your VM software, VM application, and then you are creating VMs, right? Like this, you're creating VMs. You're creating VMs. These are your VMs, right? Sometimes what happens, we are unnecessarily wasting one layer called OS. Okay, because first my VM application is coordinating with OS is coordinating with hardware like that, and this is sometimes we get a lot of latency and all, and we are not able to directly communicate with the hardware. To fix this issue, what happens? VMware has come up with a solution where we can take a bare metal hardware and we can directly install our virtualization software. So what happens? We are just ignoring or removing one layer of operating system. Due to that, our VM operations are faster and VM application is directly communicating with your hardware. So in that case, it is faster. So what are the common software that we have available to do this kind of installation? First is Proxmox. Okay, Proxmox is open source software which you can download and install into your directly on your hardware, directly on your hardware on your laptop. The another one is VMware EXI servers. 99% in the industry, most of the time you will find that people are using EXI servers and they are creating the VMs. Okay, another thing another thing, when you are using direct virtualization on top of the hardware, your automation becomes very easy. Now you will ask how the automation is going to work. Let's suppose I am a big company like Google or Facebook or Microsoft. I want to deploy 1000 servers at a stretch. Mean to say I want to deploy 1000 servers directly. So what happens? These virtualization softwares give you APIs, or they give you options like SSH, where you can just run your playbooks. Let's suppose you have Ansible, you have Python Fabric, you have any XYZ automation software. Let's suppose you have a Golang also, Golang script or something. You can simply run these scripts on top of your virtualization software and you will get 1000 VMs. So automations are very easy if you're directly installing the VM on top of your hardware. My personal favorite is Proxmox because it is free. Anyone can download it. But the only downside of the Proxmox is learning curve is little stiff. Sometimes you have to do a lot of research or something if you want to configure Proxmox. But this is my favorite because using this small software, you can it can give you a feeling like data center. Okay, you can make your machine like data center. Okay. Is this clear? At least in the I have not used very technical words, just to make you understand. Is this clear? Why
Clear.
how we install EXI and Proxmox and that?
Mhm,
Okay. Containers, very important concept. Sorry, I was continuously speaking. I thought you people might ask multiple questions. So I think image is clear, right? At least for now. Let's suppose I want to install Ubuntu on my container environment. So I have Ubuntu images available in the repository. Okay. What is repository? What is Docker repository? It is
Is
same
that
like
kind of a
Huh.
library
Mhm.
which was already pre-built and it's kept?
Very good. The initial part was little incorrect, but later part you answered it well. So libraries are you can consider these libraries with your Yum repo or your DNF repo. Do we understand what is Yum and DNF repo? Everyone?
Uh,
If
I can you explain on that?
okay,
Yeah.
no problem. You are from which background? You tell me. I will give you the thing.
SQL
SQL
Windows
Server.
background.
Okay,
Yeah.
Windows background.
Yeah.
What is this? I want to update my Windows. So when I do update, sorry, it went to my other screen. What is this? From where I'm getting these updates? I'm getting it from a repository, right? Microsoft is pushing all the updates to a specific repository, and my computer is connected to Microsoft repository. Okay, and whenever Microsoft.NET patch update repo. So see here, let's suppose I want to download a .NET package on my Windows, and due to XYZ reason, I need these kind of packages. So what I do, I go to this Windows repository, right? From there, I can simply download, I can just click and I will get the repo, right? Sorry, I will get the file for .NET to run on my machine, right? This is nothing but repository. In the Linux terms, we have EPEL. What is EPEL? I think we have talked about it in the last class. EPEL is just a repository.
Enterprise package manager.
Package manager. From there we have package. Let's suppose I want to install clock, telnet or NC or any command. I can simply go here and I can download the package, or I can do yum install. In the same way, we have Docker repository, which holds my Docker images. And how many kind of repository I have? I have again same concept. I have public repository. I have private repository. Okay, so public repositories are repository which is available freely on the internet, like Git, like Docker Hub. This is my public repository. I can go and I can explore anything about any software here. Let's suppose I need MS SQL. So I have MS SQL images available. I am from Postgre, so I want Postgre. So Postgre images are available. So you will see Postgre images. See, all kind of Postgre images are available. Okay, let's suppose I want to install Mongo. So I have Mongo database is available. I want to install Elasticsearch. Elastic is also a database, right? So I want to install Elastic. So excuse me, Elasticsearch. So spelling is not correct. You have to be very sure with the spellings. It doesn't have its own, the corrector or something. So like that, you can search any software that you want to install, and you will find a specific image for that particular software. Okay, you can search anything. So this is nothing but what? This is my, which kind of repository is this? Public repository. So what is private repository? Why do we need a private repository? Let's suppose I am a bank and I have developed my application image. Okay, I can't keep it on public repository, right? Because my application is related to bank or finance. It needs a lot of security, right? So what I will do in my environment itself, in my office itself, or in my data center itself, I will create my own repository software. Okay, and these repository softwares can be configured, and it can be run like the other other applications. Let's suppose I don't want to use public repository. I want to use my own repository. So what I can do, I can create my own repository and I can push my image and I can use it like a dedicated repository for me. Okay. For example, let's suppose I don't want to use this MySQL. I want to use my own MySQL with customized version. So in that case, what I will do, I will create my own image. I will build my own image and I will install it on my private repository. So what are the common softwares that are available to make the repository by your own? The first one is AWS registry. AWS Docker registry. So using AWS Docker registry also, you can create a private repository. Okay. Am I audible? Everyone? Can someone
Yes.
speak? Yeah.
Yes.
So using AWS repository, Docker repository, you can create your own repository. You can also use Artifactory. Let's suppose you don't want to use any software, you want the free version or open source version, you can use JFrog Artifactory. You can also use Harbor. It is very new one, but it is very efficient. I personally liking the Harbor nowadays. I'm not using Artifactory, I'm using Harbor. Okay. So just to manage my own images. Okay. So at least for now we are clear what is Docker repo, public and private, at least just basic to start. Everyone? Okay. Now, what is container? This is image, this is repo. What is container? What is the interview question, DevOps interview question that multiple time has been asked. What is the difference between image and container? Anyone want to try? Because now it's little bit clear. What is image and what is container? Anyone? It's like ISO file and VM. So image is nothing but a ISO file and container is nothing but the actual runtime environment of that particular software. So this particular Windows 11, I got Windows, excuse me. Just, I was not well today, but I thought let's take the class because I have not intimated. Sorry for this. So we have Windows 11 ISO file. The moment this ISO file is installed on your laptop and it has created a Windows 11 environment, which is like this machine where I'm sharing my screen, is nothing but a container. So for example, if I take this particular Docker from the Docker hub or Docker repository, if I download, let's suppose Postgre, if I download and install it and run it, it will become container. Containers are nothing but the runtime environment. Okay. So once we have image from the repo and we have executed it and created a runtime environment, that particular environment is nothing but container. Okay. Is that clear at least? Is that clear? Everyone? If it is
Yes.
not clear, just tell me, we can have more discussion because this is very important. For the modernization of a database administrator, this is very important. I had multiple arguments with the people that saying that why a DBA should learn Docker, but in the future you will see a lot of advantages of it. Okay, is that clear, right? Image, repo, and container, and we have certain
Sir.
commands also. Yeah, please.
I have a question. So, like, container is a platform
Mhm.
similar to VM.
Yeah. Yes.
Is it correct?
Correct. Container is a platform similar to VM. It is lightweighted and it is quick. Basically, I will once I will do the practical, right? I will show you how you can do that.
But
It's
as of
just a
now, but I
runtime
have
environment.
just I have
Mhm.
to take a note like it's a lightweight. But how it's lightweight than
Mhm.
VM? That we'll
Very
talk
good.
later, or
We can have that discussion. You can ask me a question.
okay.
So why a container is lightweighted than the VM? Okay, let me show you this particular practical, and then you can do the differentiation for yours in front of you. You can have a touch and feel, and then we can have that discussion also. Okay, so let's suppose normally in the last classes we took 5 to 10 minutes, right, or 15 minutes sometimes, right, to get the VM done using Vagrant, right? Yes or no?
Yes, yes.
Let's suppose I want to share my VM. Let's suppose I did some development. Let's suppose we are a group of people. We are building an application. We built the application on VM. I built it, but I want to share my environment to you. What I will do? I want to share my development with these people. What is the traditional way of doing it?
So
I will
traditional way, like
Mhm.
copy the files and all.
I will copy the VM software to a pen drive or hard disk or a cloud drive and give it to these people. They will
Correct.
go. They will go and take the VM and they will, install it in their machine. VM size minimum to minimum, it will be at least 7 to 15 GB, right? Minimum to minimum, 7 to 15
Hmm.
GB that I have to do. Second thing, once my VM is once my VM is shipped or sent to the other side of the people, and if any new update comes, what I have to do? Let's suppose this is version 1. Meanwhile, the moment this process was going on, my team has developed V2. What we are going to do? We have to send another
Same ship
container.
and another VM connect. Yes.
This is overall a lengthy process, and there are chances that this particular VM might not work properly there because I was using a different technology or something. Okay, there are a lot of problems also, right? Let's suppose I was using VMware, the other side of the people are using virtual machines. I have to do a lot of conversion or something, right? Okay. Second thing, can my VM run in parallel mode for my application? Technically, yes, but it will be a very complicated system, right? Where I am using my primary VM this and these two are my secondary VMs. If something goes to my primary VM, automatically my secondary VM has to come again here, right? Using VMware vMotion technology, that was happened, right? If my this VM is dying, automatically next VM comes in the place of my production VM. That technology is nothing but what? VMware vMotion, right? Right? I'll get some water. Huh? Just give me a minute. Sorry, I was having a lot of cough. Okay. So using vMotion or other technologies, we can provide these kind of high availability to my VM, right? But all these things are very complicated. Sometimes it need licensing product also. It need a team who are managing all these kind of things, and they are not easy to manage basically. Sorry. So to avoid all these things, we can use containers. Okay. So let's suppose I am not using VM, I'm using container. From here onwards, I'm using a container. What I will do, I will simply create a application container with version 1. Me and my team is doing a lot of development here. Once this application is done, I will simply go and push it to the repo. Whoever need it, they will simply go and pull it to their machines. They will run it. They will make the application available. And on top of that, in case if I have version 2, I will simply push that version 2 again to the repo. And they can simply download that particular container image to their machine. And application is ready. Because comparing with the VM, these images are very lightweighted. Okay. And within a second, you can copy these images from one place to another place. Another important aspect that you have to understand. Anyone is from the application side or understand the application? Let's suppose I have a Java application. Okay. Let's suppose I have a Java application. To run my Java application, I have to set up certain things, right? I have to install the Java binaries and all those things. Okay. When we are doing it on VM or we are doing it on OS, we have seen that multiple times we get packages issued. Let's suppose on my development, I am using Java package 3.1, but in production, I have Java 3.4. These kind of common issues comes, right? Because sometimes our development is not synced with the production, because production and development, they built it long back and syncing is not very easy, you know. So a lot of differences come in terms of CPU, in terms of RAM, in terms of packages, in terms of a lot of things, right? So these kind of things can be fixed when I'm using container. Okay, I can simply make my runtime environment the small container. I can install my Java application. I can install my database. I can containerize my application and I can send it to anyone. The moment these people will open this container, they will get exact environment what I have sent to my repository or sent it to my team. Okay, you will see that. Okay, let me run one simple container. I'm sorry for this cough. Huh? You people can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Abhishek.
Yes.
No issues, Abhishek.
I'm so sorry for this.
No, no.
So now what I'm going to show you how to run these kind of containers on your machine. Okay. So before running on your machine, what are the prerequisites that you have to do? First thing is, if you are on Windows, install Docker Desktop on your machine. If you are on Linux or any other operating system, simply install the Docker software, Docker application from yum install Docker, like that. Okay. I'm going step by step. I will add few more things here. Another important thing before I go ahead that I want to tell you here. Every image has a version. Okay. So in the Docker terms, we call it tag. So let's suppose I want to install Postgre 14. Then what I will do, I will go to the tag number 14. Can you see here? This is nothing but tag. So this is my Postgre 14 Docker image file. Okay. And whenever I will say tag, it means I'm referring to a version. Okay. So let's suppose I want to run a Docker, Postgre Docker on my machine. What I have to do? First, I have to install Docker desktop. First, I have to install the Docker desktop on my machine, and then simply run these codes. So let's explain this command. Let me explain this command first, and then I will run it, and I will show you. So what this command is going to do? This is my Docker command that I have to run. Run is nothing but it is going to pull the image, or it will create the container on my machine. So basically it is working as a, you can say it's a creation part. Okay. So even if you run Docker start or run, by default what it does, it creates the container. And this is the name that I am going to give to my container. This is my Postgre user. This is my Postgre password. This is my Postgre database user. This is the port that I am going to define. Okay. And this is my container image with tag. Image colon tag. So tag is nothing but version. Okay. The moment I will execute this command, what will happen? Docker first will try to find this image on my local computer. If I don't have this image available on my local computer, it will pull it from the repo and it will install it directly to my local machine. Okay. Another important factor, why I have written the port 2 times? Anyone? What is the importance of this? Why I have written 5432 colon 5432?
It is for the mapping between
Very
the OS and the Docker.
OS and the Docker. Very good. So left hand side denotes to which area?
It is
Anyone?
the OS, I guess. OS, I guess. No,
So
sorry. This is the Docker, and then
Docker.
that is the OS.
Always remember this is an interview question. Docker. Left hand side is Docker port. Right hand side is OS or host port. Okay. Now our command is ready. Let's quickly execute, and someone please just start the stopwatch and see how quickly we are building a database environment. Now let's do a comparison between Vagrant
Can
and
you
Docker.
increase the size, Abhishek? Of
Yes,
the,
yes. Yes, I will just, I can't increase it here, but I will put it here. Is this clear? Simply copy. Docker is already installed. I like PowerShell. You can use whatever you like to use. You can use normal DOS prompt also. I'm simply taking this command and I'm putting it here. Okay. Why I'm getting this error? Because my Docker services are not started on my machine. Simply services, or I would say Docker desktop. It is coming on my next screen. So I will have simply started the Docker desktop. So like this looks like this. This is my Docker desktop. Okay. So my entire website, the website you see, it runs from the Docker only. So now again run the command. So what is this error? 5432 is already occupied. So let me change to my port to something else. Because already one database is running on my machine, I will do it 39. Copy. Paste. TestDB is already running. I will make it Postgre class, PG class 5432. Can you see this? My container is created. Now let me take something which is not there in my machine. Three, and I will use the 16 is already there. Docker ls image ls. All these images are there. Let me take something which is new. 17.
Sir, these images are locally available on your system.
Locally available. That's why I'm not able to show you the actual process. Containers are getting created within a second. But I want to show you the actual whole process. Can you see this? What is the first line? What is the first line?
Locally.
I'm unable to find the image
Postgres
locally.
17 locally.
It's not available. So what it is doing? It is pulling it from the repository. The moment this is done, it will create a container. Okay. Now I'll go to the command pat also, but let's understand this. Once you will understand the containerization or containers, you will stop using the VMs. Now, how long it took? Approximately the whole process, everyone?
40 seconds.
40 seconds. Very good. 40 seconds. Do you think can we create a database server in 40 seconds? Ever
No way.
possible?
No way.
No
No
way. No way. So let's suppose I'm using a very dynamic kind of application or static application, or let's suppose I'll tell you one thing, the real-time example. Recently, there was an Indian cricket match happened, right? And I think 4 to 5 million people were watching, right? To that match. I think it was there on the Hotstar, something like that. So how it got possible? How it got possible? It got possible due to containerization technology. People are watching the Hotstar. My single container can sustain 5,000 people. The moment 5,000 people are reached to this container, automatically due to using auto scaling, a new container used to get created. Again 5,000 people, new container, new container, new container. Like that, I have catered how many people? 4 million people. And the moment these 4 million people are going away from my platform, automatically downsizing happens. My application back to normal. So these kind of auto scaling and downscaling can be done using what? Using what? Containers and microservices.
Docker,
Docker,
Kubernetes.
Kubernetes. And the next topic is going to be Kubernetes and all thing. I'll explain you.
You just said microservices.
Yes. So microservices, monolithic and microservice, we will talk about that also.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll explain you. But is this clear at least what I did here? Because this is important to build. Now, can I go ahead? I have many other things to discuss. Can I go ahead?
Yeah,
Any
one
question?
question.
Yeah,
One.
please.
One question from my.
Mhm.
Yes.
Abhishek, I just want to. It might be
one
crazy.
question.
Mhm.
You mentioned it is the first line shows it is trying to
Dhirendra,
load the
Dhirendra,
image.
Dhirendra, 1 second. 1 second. Let him ask the question. He was like, and then you
Yes.
can ask after. Yeah, David.
Yes, Abhishek, the thing is, here you have been building a Docker with by a default database, right? PostgreSQL database.
Correct.
Is there any, if for a template, if we are going to have a template for a organization, if we are having by creating the container itself, we have to create certain set of database means, can
Very
we? It is possible.
It is 100% possible, and thanks for asking this question. You can do n number of automation using containers. N number of automation. I will show you that also.
Okay.
After the class, let's wait for 5 minutes. I will show you that automation also.
Sure.
Sorry,
Thanks.
Dhirinder. He started speaking first, so that's what. Don't mind. No? Dhirinder, you can ask your question.
No,
Thanks.
sorry, I was sorry, I didn't hear somebody else.
Yeah, I think you are having some lag, little bit lag. Yeah, you can ask your question.
I think there is some internet issue today at my end, so
Yeah, some delays there looks like. Yeah.
I'm getting correct.
Okay.
So my question,
So-
as you were trying to show this Postgres image, it searched initially locally, and then where from, like, how it got to know from which repository I need to download, because we did not pass anything,
So by default, when you install
even if it is
Docker,
going online.
yeah, when you install Docker desktop, by default, it goes to your Docker Hub. By default, it goes to Docker Hub like this. Until unless you are not going and specifying from which repository it has to pick up. Is that clear?
Oh, no. It will go to Docker Hub. So Docker Hub is having its own repositories.
Okay, let me answer like this. You have installed Red Hat Enterprise Linux 9. The moment you run yum install MySQL, where it will go? Which repo it will go?
Will go
To Red Hat repo.
like, yes, yum.dk, and like
Whatever
repo
is
will be
there, it
available.
will go to there. If yum.d is not available, you are explicitly telling where to go using a repo.d file, right? Tell me one thing.
Yes.
You have Android on your machine, on your mobile. You want a new application, where it will go by default? Play Store, right? Or something like that, right? Android have Play Store, right? Or something, right?
They will keep it on Play Store.
Let's suppose you don't want to get Android application from
Yes.
the Play Store. Where you will go? You will go to some third-party repo, right? Yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
In case if this repo is also not available, what you do? You get APK file, right? To install the app. Yes or no?
Yes.
Same concept. Everything is same.
Correct.
If you are using Docker Hub, Docker software, by default, it will go to Docker Hub. Okay. Tell me one thing. It's an interview question people ask sometimes. Why, if I have public repository available, why should I bother to develop my own private repository? What is so concerning? What is the main reason why I should not use public repository? This answer is same like our old question related to public yum repo versus public private yum repo.
Okay.
So everyone can steal a
So in
image.
Very good. For whoever said, it's very good. Anyone can see my application. If I'm a bank, I'm a SBI bank. I have created my application. I push it to public repository. If anyone will download, he will get the SBI app, which I don't want to do. Second thing, I don't know what kind of security measure in the public repository they are following. Let's suppose they will send a virus and my system will get infected by virus, right? Malware, virus, beacon, or unwanted third-party script execution or SQL injection can happen, right? Or DDoS attack can happen if I'm using their repository image. What I will do, I will create my own repo. I will create my own image and I will use it like that. Is that clear at least? This part?
Yeah,
Whatever
pretty
I have
clear.
explained? Yes. Now let's understand some common commands that every DBA should understand. Yeah, I think you have any question, Ahmed?
Yes, Abhishek, just wanted to know,
Mhm,
like
mhm.
this Docker concept is it similar to the pluggable databases, or that's a different, totally
Kind
different?
of, where you are just plugging the database from other source to the main Oracle database. You can say kind of, but not 100%.
Oh,
It
okay.
is kind of,
Sure. Thank you.
but Oracle made it very complex. Here it is very easy, but concepts are little bit similar and like that only. Okay.
Yeah.
Now now my Docker is installed. I want to see whether my image is working or not. The first command you should run docker ps. Docker ps will show you that your container is up and running or not. What is my container? Where is my container? Anyone see that? PG class 4. This is the PG class 4. Which port I am using? This is the port I am using, and this is my port that I am using. This container is up from last 8 minutes. This is wrong. Sometimes you will see the wrong detail here. This is not up from the 8 minute. Created 8 minutes ago. I think 8 minutes are done, right? I think done.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
this
yes.
might be right. What is the command that we have used to create the command? So this specific command will come here. What is the image that I took to create my container? What is the image?
17.
17. And where is that 17? This is the 17
Tag.
image that I have used to create my container. And this is my container ID. Either I can handle using container ID or the container name. Let's suppose I want to stop this container, docker stop either container ID or container name.
Name.
Stop. I want to start.
Can we deliberately create the container ID? What I wanted?
No, it is managed by the container platform. Basically, you can manage only name. Container ID
Alright.
is basically hexadecimal value which gives by container platform.
Okay.
Is it good? Stop, start.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now tell me one thing. If I will remove my image, will my container will get impacted?
Probably not.
No.
Why?
Because the container is already running and it has already pulled the images.
so that got downloaded locally.
Yes, very good.
Correct.
So this is the interview question. DevOps, whenever you go to a DevOps DBA, these kind of things are asked. Okay, so your container is like created, ready. Now my application is ready. How I can access to my container? How I can go inside and check whether it is working or not? So the simple thing is container gives you option to log
Docker
into any
execute.
yes, docker execute command. You can run docker execute. You can give it, and then you can give the docker ID, and
Bin
in the
bash.
last you can give bash, or you can give anything, any SQL
Hyphen
or
it.
bash or anything. I think hyphen, right? Hyphen. I'm using
Yeah.
bash. So currently I'm inside my container. So Postgre is not currently there. So what user I have used?
Probably
Okay.
port is different. 5441, right?
Yes. Right. psql -u dev user.
No, port we have to mention. 5432 is taking. We took another port, right? 5441.
No, it's not like that. Basically,
Okay.
already I'm inside the container. I have to just simply give my username and password. I have
No,
not used
how it takes the native port? I'm curious.
by default using the container ID you went inside. So now ports are already absoluted, right? When you are under the environment, ports are only used when you want to access it outside from the container. I will explain you 1 minute. I
Okay,
will
okay.
just explain you. Is this
You
clear
mean
at least?
mapping? You mean mapping has
Mapping.
already been
Mapping is
okay,
already
okay.
has been done. I will explain you that also. Is this clear?
Okay. Yeah,
At
clear.
least everyone. I want vote from everyone because this is important. In my future sessions are depending on Dockerization a lot, because I want you to I want everyone to understand this Dockerization concept. Sushan, Ahmed, Kasif, Dhirender.
Sir, while
Yes.
starting, like 2 ports were visible. So I'm
Mhm.
confused little bit, like,
This confusion comes
ये
actually.
क्या
That's
है?
why explicitly, you tell me one thing. We have talked about this just now here. Do you understand this concept here?
Docker and
No.
host.
Minus P.
No,
This particular part. No. Okay. Let's understand like this. So basically, your container is having two values. In the port, we have two values. One is the Docker port. Another one is host port. So let's suppose if this container is created on my host, on my machine. So whenever this container is created, it is showing me two ports. One is this one, another one is this one. So basically, if I want to connect to this particular container, let's suppose I have a software like dviewer, and I want to connect to this particular database, which port I will put? Let me show you
oh,
all the things specific. I have created a container database. Now I want to connect to this particular database. Let me create a new connection. First of all, do you know this particular software? What is this?
sir, it's a client basically.
Basically
Client.
client. I want to connect to this database. What I will do? Can I use 5432 directly?
Probably not.
No, because
here
it's
we have
my,
to mention.
yes, this is my Docker port. Basically, right hand side is my Docker, and this is my local port. So what is my local port?
41.
5441.
414.
And what is my username?
Dev pass.
I have not used, sorry, dev user. And password is dev pass. Sorry. Database is devdb. Password user is dev user. Password is dev pass. This is a common issue that we are getting with dviewer, time zone related, because my container is running on some other time zone and this is another time zone, but it means I'm able to connect to my container. I can easily connect to the container. In other words, let's use pgadmin. If this is not working, pgadmin will work. This is a common issue that sometimes comes with the container and we have to correct the time zone inside our container. Let me show you connecting with pgadmin, which will be by default take the tz value.
So sir,
this is
currently this 441 is like a DB port.
correct. No, it is a host port.
Host
Host is equal container 1 connection local host 54. What is the port?
5441.
Yes. User is, what is the user? Dev user.
Yes, sir.
Password is dev pass. Database. Connected. Let me create a database for testing. Test my db01. Save.
Yes.
Is that clear? At least.
Sir, you connect to ho gaya, but host I'm still confused. Host is like the
Okay,
machine
okay.
where your Docker is running.
Yes, correct. The host is nothing but where my Docker software is running. Port of this particular machine, and right hand side is the port of my Docker machine, which is 5432 standard port.
So sir, for single container, I need to use a separate port automatically ho jayega, or do I
Correct.
need to manage that thing?
No, you are, while you are creating, you are defining it here.
Okay. So this I have to manage.
You have to manage, you have to define, but don't change the Docker port. Let it be default. Otherwise,
Docker
you have to
port.
write a lot of customization. You can play with your host port, whatever you want to do, but normally don't touch the Docker side of the port. Now you will ask a question, why I should not do that? So the simple answer is every Docker file has a lot of configuration inside. The moment you will touch the port, you have to accordingly change that port everywhere. Can you see this? So normally don't change the Docker port. Everybody clear so far? Devendra, you are clear at least?
Yes. Yes.
You will able to create the container from here onwards?
I think so.
At least? Yes. Now let's understand few more concepts quickly because I have so many things to discuss. Otherwise, you know, I have only 60 minutes. Can we take a quick break, everyone, or we can skip the break today? What do you think? Everybody, let's take a break, 10-minute break. I think we need a break.
I have a question before taking break.
Yeah, sure. Rest of the people, if you want, you can, or yeah, let's understand the question. Yeah, please tell me.
Yeah. So here, you know, you use the dev user. So for my template databases also, the ownership has changed. But I don't want to be ownership has to be changed for my clusters. It should be Postgres. So by default, yeah.
So when you are creating the container, you can use the user which you want to do.
If we haven't used these flags, then it should be Postgres, right?
No. It's not like that. Every container have. Let me explain you like this. First of all, image, right? When you have image and you are making a container, every container needs some environment values. We have two environments value. mandatory and optional. So in the case of Postgre, their documentation itself says at least you have to pass these many values. Can you see here?
Okay.
Their documentation itself says these are the mandatory value you have to pass. Otherwise, your image will not convert into container or it will not get created.
Okay,
so
okay.
mandatory E is environment value is mandatory that you have to pass. It depends on the application that you are making the container of or the running as a container. So you have to give the default values at least. Otherwise, if I won't get the default value, my container creation will get failed like this. So some of the environment values are 100% mandatory that you have to pass. If you won't pass these kind of thing, your container might get created, but you will see a lot of issues. So 100% you have to pass some environment values. Okay. Now what will happen in case if this container will get created, you will not able to log in it, even though it will get created, right? Because certain environment values has not passed to the container. Got it? Right?
Okay, understood. It's not like what we are doing installation, plain Postgres installation.
Plain Postgres installation is not like that. You have to plan it.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's come back to in 10 minutes quickly, and then we will talk about PV, persistent volume, which is very important for database engineers. Okay. And someone please remind me for the recording. Okay. I'm stopping the recording now. Let's meet